All right, my name is Maverick Collins. This is my video submission for probability of events, CST-215 with Professor Nasser. This was a pretty straightforward assignment. We were tasked with creating a function. I didn't have the function. I just wrapped my whole script in this user-defined function. So excuse the, this print statement's inside of it, but it still works, as we will get into. Anyhow. We were tasked with creating this function that creates two values from random integers. I call them n and m with a range from 1 to 6. And we wanted to use those integers to calculate two different parameters, or not parameters, two different values. One value was to calculate how many times integer n and integer m are equal. And the other variable is to check when integer n and integer m add up to the sum of 7, which you could see here in this else if statement, conditional statements. From there, we were tasked with then creating the probability, which is just the occurrences over the sample size. And for our problem description, we just wanted to use a sample size of 1,000. I used a couple different magnitudes, and it spits out roughly the same. I believe it's like 20%, 21% for the same random integers, and about 16% for the probability that they're going to equal 7. So I guess let's run it so you could see it working in action. All right. So it's going to go through this loop. I'm going to pass through iterations. I just did this so you could easily, make it 10,000, et cetera, to get a more accurate probability. Anyhow, so it's going to go ahead, run through this loop. It's going to grab two random numbers. It's then going to compare n and m. Are they equal? If so, we're going to plus the random number variable that we created up here at top, which is going to track obviously when they're equal or equivalent. The next statement is going to track if they are equal to 7. So these two things cannot be equivalent because as integers, 7's an odd number. So thus, no two numbers will add up to equal. No, if two numbers are the same, it's always going to equal an even number. Thus, it has to be, they're going to have different counters. Sorry, it's a little late to describe all the logic. But anyhow, this logic works. Very straightforward, very simplistic. It's going to then just plus. And then lastly, we're going to calculate the probability, which is the number of events over the iterations. Again, I just wrapped this whole script inside this user-defined function. As I was starting to record, I noticed the very first sentence is write a Python function. So here's my function. Probability of events. We're going to pass through input variable iterations, and it's going to return void about what do you call them? Variables just going to be printing out. So there's no return. It's just the print statements. If I were to redo this again, I would have just taken these print statements out front here, redid the formats, and just filled it in with the return values of this function. But the parameters of the question don't state that we have to do that. So I'm going to leave it for now, just for time's sake. But this is a very good working script. So we did it for 1,000. And then as you can see down here, it's going to also spit out what your sample size is. So if we do 100,000, let's just say, run. So it populates two values from random integers, range 1 to 6, two identical values, occurred 20,000 times in a sample set of 100,000. and the sum added to 7 roughly 16,000 times in a sample set of 100,000. And very, go figure, the probability is just the value divided by 100,000. So you're going to have 20% of the time be hitting identical values roughly, and then 16% of the time you're going to be having two integers that add up to the sum of 7. So yeah, that's my script. Fun, cool assignment. I enjoyed that it was a little bit more simple this week, less heavy on the Python syntax and incorporating the various math I don't know what you call them, math concepts we're learning in discrete logic. So good assignment. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.